Wednesday night, 9 p.m. can only mean one thing, man. It's reporting eligible time, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for another edition with your boys reporting eligible, man. We're glad to be on here. 9:10, a little bit late, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I stress it. It's all good, man. But I'm your host, Berto, joined by my guy, Bro Talk. What is going on? Bro Talk, what's new, brother? What you got?
Well, just lifing as busy as it
Always.
is, and trying to keep up everything Falcons. I know we're kind of in a lull, waiting for free agency to hit, and I think we're still not 100% finalized on the coaching staff. At least they haven't announced.
Not yet.
Still making some moves. So, yeah, man, just another day. Talk Falcons football, man. Get excited about the upcoming season.
Combine just around the corner. Some, future draft prospects will skyrocket their draft status, make some more money for them and their lovely families. And that's an exciting time to be a part of. That's coming up shortly. So we'll definitely be, scaving and scrounging and just checking for what's the latest, whose name stands out from the rest, and some names that we might be high on that may not test as well at the combine. So much to unfold, so much to uncover in the coming weeks. But yesterday hit a very important. It was either yesterday or today where the franchise window opened up, and the Falcons, like many teams who have to make a decision on who they're going to franchise tag, have yet to make an announcement. They have up until March 3rd to do so. I think the overall expectation is, and we got a little bit today from Tony Gonzalez, a Falcon GOAT himself, clamoring and just telling the Falcons, do the right thing. Franchise tag Kyle Pitts. You know what he can do. He's still young. He still has a lot of football ahead of him. So those are all positives. And now it's on Ian and Kevin to really, and Matt also, to really align that vision on what they see for Kyle Pitts. But are you still feeling the same about Kyle Pitts? Is he a lock to be a franchise player here in Atlanta?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm still on that train. I know I've teetered and tottered many of which ways, like, oh, he's not going to be here. But I think last year's performance kind of showed you the untapped potential, the potential we've seen. We all talked about it his rookie year, kind of took a dive off the cliff and then kind of climbed his way back up. So I think he's worthy of the franchise tag. I'd rather get a long-term deal done. But if they can't agree to it, he's got one of the best agents in the game that will make sure his client is taken care of. So either way, I think he's here next year, whether it's on the tag or a long-term deal.
Love to hear it, man. Love to hear it. Yeah, I share the same sentiment. I just enjoyed him flourish towards the end of the year. Obviously, Zach made him the focal point of the offense. Draco went down, and we just seen his stock elevate, really made him primary target number one. And it also helped out Bijan. So it worked in many ways. It's going to be interesting to see how Kevin can feature him going forward if he is retained. So nonetheless, it's still exciting to think about. And as of right now, Kyle Pitts is still in Atlanta Falcon, no longer in Atlanta Falcon. And this is on the bitter news of side of things, man. Mike Ruttenberg, man. We lost Crash Out. What did they call it? Crash Out Rudy? I think that was his name.
Rudy.
Hey, Crash Out Rudy. Congratulations to him for being announced the new Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator, and the way things are shaping in Cleveland. You might be having some second thoughts, man. There's a lot of free agents that are going to be coming out of Cleveland, man. So it's like, God damn, man. But nonetheless, that's a massive void. Really, two minds that we have to account for in the secondary. As we all know, and stated last week, Jerry Gray, now with the San Francisco 49ers, was here in Atlanta for quite some time, I think the past 4 years. And now Mike Ruttenberg, an understudy to Jeff Ulbrich, was with him with the Jets, followed him here to Atlanta, really was the architect, if you want to call it, in that past game for the secondary. We saw how spicy and how aggressive that Falcons secondary was, and he had a say in it, man. Mike Ruttenberg had a say in it. Eventually when you start learning from great minds, you start getting noticed, and obviously teams are going to want to start plucking from from teams like we all know Seattle might get gutted, right? They're going to start getting gutted. They win a Super Bowl. Obviously, teams are going to start clamoring for their coaches. Same thing with Atlanta as an up and coming team, right? Mike Ruttenberg on the secondary side of things now gets his chance with the Falcons. I mean, excuse me, with the Browns. But the departure on Mike, how did that made you feel? Learning about it, man.
Ah, man, I was happy for him because we always want your guys to get an opportunity. It stinks.
Sure.
The Cleveland Browns, like Bone says, we're like attached to the Browns for some
Right.
reason. Not just this year, but many previous years. Um, but it stings because he was a crucial part to what they built here in Atlanta. Coming over with Jeff from the New York Jets. He spent some time in Jacksonville. Learning under also spent time in New York learning from Robert Salah. So he's got a plethora of knowledge that he's going to be able to take there. He's got some two big pieces already: Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year, future Hall of Famer. So he's got some core pieces there. To be interesting to see which philosophy he applies, going from Jim Schwartz, heavy cover one, heavy four-man pressure to potentially like a Gus Bradley, Robert Salah mixture, Dan Quinn. Like, we
Mm,
don't know, right? We don't know what philosophy
mhm.
he's going to implement and whether or not he's going to um, adapt to the roster per se, kind of like Jeff Ulbrich touched on when he had his press conference last time on not being so stuck in your way that players ultimately fail, but coaching to the strengths of your players.
Yeah, no, it is, man. So that obviously leaves a void here in Atlanta, and yes, it's one of the coaching vacancies that it leaves behind. But it leaves you to wonder what direction will Atlanta go for? Are they going to allow Jeff Ulbrich really to have more of a say in what type of guys he wants to bring in for his vision on the defensive side? As we all know, he trotted out most of Raheem's vision. So now with obviously Raheem gone, Kevin being in. Maybe Kevin is entrusting him to have a little bit more say on a defense that had a fantastic turnaround from 2024 to 2025. So that's much to the credit of Jeff Ulbrich and company. So it's going to be exciting to see who we bring in. But some names that have been thrown around. You've been throwing some names. I've dug up some names, but there might be already a candidate within house that could be announced within days. We just don't know. But some other names that you might be interested seeing here in Atlanta, obviously with ties to the coaching staff that we have now.
Yeah, so I look at anytime we do these kind of things, you always try and connect the dots. It's very rare that a coach kind of goes outside people he's worked with because they've built a connection.
Yeah.
And if they do, kudos to them. But I look at someone that was here in Atlanta already, Jerome Henderson. He was our
Mm,
pass game coordinator from 2016 to 2019.
yep.
Under Dan Quinn, worked with Jeff Ulbrich, right? He was the he was the linebackers coach at that time.
Yep.
But then, Jerome Henderson has had stops in the New York Giants, where he was the defensive back coach for 3 years. And then they promoted him and gave him pass game coordinator responsibilities there as well. And then last year, he was with the Indianapolis Colts, working under Lou Onaramu, a very well-respected defensive coordinator
Mm,
throughout the league. So giving someone the title of pass game coordinator, I believe, is considered a promotion. So that'd be
yep.
a way to get him over here. And he's familiar with Flowery Branch, right?
Right.
Another name that really stood out to me is Jeff Howard, the safeties coach out of Seattle, right? Everyone's like,
Hmm.
someone go get Mike McDonald's guys, and for good reason, right? Those defensive backs, very well coached, very communicative. They were they like to say they're the second coming of the Legion of Boom. I don't think so, but they were well coached enough that they won a Super Bowl this past year, right? To give you a little history on him,
Hmm.
prior to the Seahawks, where he joined in 2024. 2023, he learned under Brandon Staley in the Los
Hmm.
Angeles Chargers before Jesse Minter took over. And then he spent some time with Stefanski in Cleveland. He was the DBs and pass game coordinator there from 2020 to 2022. Prior to that, he was an understudy of Mike Zimmer's defense from
Ooh.
2013 to 2019 as just a defensive assistant. And his first promotion came to the Cleveland Browns as the DBs and pass game coordinator. So he's got a good plethora of knowledge. He's a younger coach. We have some pretty good defensive backs here that he could
Mhm.
immediately plug in. And I think
Mhm.
Jeff would be someone he would work really well with and potentially bring his ideas of like a Mike McDonald defense
Yeah.
to Jeff, who's already talked about himself adapting to,
Mhm.
the players, in the league and the current state of it.
Yeah, no, those are some great names. I have one in-house candidate, and it might be going under the radar, but he's been here for a while, and that's Lance Schulters, defensive assistant. He could be promoted to pass game coordinator. That's a promotion in itself. Which and it would be, I think it would be fitting. He's a former player. Obviously, we all know Tennessee Titans, the San Francisco 49ers, knows what it's like to be on the field, obviously, but now being a coach, a student of the game now, and seeing how past games has evolved, it may be his calling. So I would definitely be interested if that's a name. Another name here that Nathan Floyd is bringing up is Marquand Manuel. That to
We
me was
we we
the
talked about
original
that.
crash out. We did, yes. That's the original crash out, Rudy, right there, man, because how fiery he was, Marquand Manuel, man, and not an in-your-face guy whatsoever, but just rah-rah, can get the guys up and spirited. He has bounced around the league ever since he departed from Atlanta after, just kind of falling by the wayside as a DC. Could be a name that could make its way back, but like you mentioned, very rarely does that happen. But to that, I think the clear cut favorite for me is Lance Schulters, and I think Kevin Stefanski had mentioned that they already were, they were prepared for Mike's departure. They had somebody already waiting in the wings, and I'm just interested to see if that's the guy who they feel is ready to take the next step for Atlanta, man.
Look at this question
This
from
That's a
Bones.
lovely question.
It's a great
Lovely
question.
question.
Anyone that sticks
Absolutely.
out to you that could potentially do that? There's only one, and that's because I watched him every week. It's Texas Tech's defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I could see that. They had their biggest thing was they had a great front seven. Their linebackers were very well coached. Their defensive
Mhm.
front, right? You've got they've got I think all four are going to go within the first 2 days. Two of them possibly
Mhm.
first rounders, and then the
Mhm.
other two second and third rounders. So that is someone I would keep my eye on. A younger guy, fiery as well, very very good teacher. I think Texas Tech's secondary was weaker, but they played above their talent level because of the coaching they received. That'd be the only one. I'm not as familiar with coaches at the college
Yeah.
level to give a more
Precise
educated.
answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's the only guy I would think
That's a
that
hell of a question there,
yeah.
though, Bones. It really is. And Lisa Shepard, as kind as always, man. Thank you so much. This is why I tune into this show. I learn from y'all because I don't know about all these position coaches. Thank you, Professor Bro Talk. Absolutely. And shout out to everybody that is in here this evening. I got to get to this super chat here from our guy, Dwayne Ruffin, out in sunny SoCal. Wednesday night, always great with reporting eligible. We certainly thank you for joining and tuning in faithfully as you do every Wednesday night. Thank you for the $1.99 bid, man. King Atlanta supporter, what is going on? King of oneself, what's happening? Appreciate everybody that's here. Nathan Floyd, Mactown Dirty, T Terry. Yes, Jerry Gray is in San Francisco. He is with Shanny out there at the
With
West
Raheem. I mean,
Coast.
we really
Yeah,
shouldn't be surprised by that.
shouldn't be surprised.
I
Right,
mean,
really.
Raheem and him, I'm sure, built a really good relationship. I think Raheem is going to do what he wants as the defensive backs coach.
Mhm.
It was interesting to learn though that
Thank you, Lisa.
he was the nickel coach here last year. That was
That's some
interesting
low key stuff.
because it wasn't like that wasn't his title, and it makes you kind of like why couldn't we know that? But D
It
Alford
wasn't even a
confirmed that.
title with the coaches. Like when
No, it
you look
wasn't.
at the coaches,
This
it's
is the
awesome.
first year that's
Mhm.
technically the title with Ricky Manning as the nickel coach. So good luck to Coach Gray. Good luck to Coach Raheem.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised when I saw the news where he followed Raheem at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It makes you wonder what other teams have that coaching position
I
already
mean,
on hand
I
too.
wouldn't be surprised if like the Houston Texans do.
Something like that, right?
The guys that have like really strong nickels, I would not be
Yep.
surprised. The nickel position has become more and more important.
Oof.
It used to be an afterthought in the 2010s, 2000s. Everyone
Yep.
ran a lot of base heavy defenses
Heavy
because
beast. Yep.
it was a um, run heavy league. But now you need your
Mhm.
nickel to be a great run fitter, cover
Yep.
well. When they're mismatched against taller receiver, like you ask a lot of your nickel
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Would you say that the nickel spot is just as important now as your CB1, CB2?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely. Bones and I talk about this all the time. When
Yep.
Ramsey was with the Rams under Raheem Morris,
Mm-hmm.
anytime they went nickel, he wasn't playing the outside. He
Mm-hmm.
was
Went
the
in.
nickel
Yeah.
defensive back because
Yeah.
that's how good he is, and that's how important it was to that defense. Obviously, it won them a Super Bowl. So it
Mm-hmm.
just shows you why they were so high on Billy Bowman when they drafted him, because
Mm-hmm.
they felt, as a former safety, Jalen Petrie for the Houston Texans, former
Oh man,
safety,
former
just an
safety. Mm-hmm.
absolute dog that is not afraid to get in there in the run and then cover so well, right? So yes, it is just as important. Like you're just drafting a corner, but really, or a safety, but really you're drafting your nickel.
You're drafting your nickel. Yeah, a la the days of oh boy, gotta go here with this one. Ricardo Allen, who did the same thing.
Yes. I mean,
But
if you think about it, and my memory may be wrong, where did Brent Grimes really strive
oh
in?
my god,
Was it more on the inside than the outside?
inside. Yeah, yeah, it
And that's where
was.
he made his living, and that's where he got paid with the Dolphins.
Yep. Yep. Oh man, I remember seeing him in the what was it, the overseas games that they used to do, was it the Argonauts or something like that? Or I don't know. I could have the name
The
wrong, but
NFL Europe.
the NFL Europe bid, man. I remember him being out there with the little Falcons emblem and watching him week in and week. I'm like, who is this guy, man? This guy's amazing. And then, lo and behold, Brent Grimes became a household name for the Falcons for quite some time, and he made more money elsewhere with other teams and whatnot. So that's great to do. That's great to know. A little bit of Falcon history right there. What's not in history is what Kevin Stefanski's doing amongst his own staff. Obviously, actually, you know what? Not his own staff. Let's focus on Ian Cunningham and what he's doing as a GM, as he recently, or the Falcons recently, made another addition to the front office. Shane Heinlein, a 25-year pro in the in the coaching aspect around the league. He was announced as director of college scouting for the Falcons. The what was it, Southwest, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Um, Scout for the Atlanta Falcons. He's been around this type of work for 25 years with the Eagles, the Bills, the Browns. But it's his work that he's done with the Eagles that really is very impressive. And he's been with the Buffalo. He was with the Buffalo Bills for 14 years. So this guy has, man, not just
Ample
oh
scouting.
my God, ample scouting. He's seen the who's of who's as far as talent, man. So scouting is like second nature to him. It's not an issue. So I like what Ian is doing on the scouting side and just building, these troops, man. A la what he did and how he cut his teeth in the game, being the same thing for the Baltimore Ravens, being elevated to the same stature that Shane is now with the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's good. You can respect this hire.
Yeah,
It,
absolutely. Giving an opportunity to someone that you worked closely with when you were in the same position that you just gave him,
mhm.
being an area scout for so long. Like, don't be surprised if this guy's the next GM that gets
Could
hired
be.
or starts getting interviewed, especially if the Falcons have two straight draft classes that look really, really good. So,
Mhm.
fun fact, when I was looking him up, he resides in Salina, Texas, that I actually went to high school just south of there. So I'm very familiar where he resides in, but it's really cool to see the ties, right? Ian Cunningham with
Yeah.
Philadelphia, and then he
Philadelphia.
spent
Yep.
some time, scouting for Kevin Stefanski's rosters. So the always connected dots, right? Always
Have
connected
to.
dots. I like this hire a lot by Ian. I think he's done a great job so far.
Hmm.
Um, Eager to see if he's going to hire an assistant GM.
Mm.
Right? We all thought it was going to be Joe Douglas, right?
Yeah.
Because they
Still time
had ties.
though.
There
Hmm.
is still time. We are still finalizing the front office, still finalizing the coaching staff. It makes you feel good because they are taking their time to make sure they get all these assistants,
Yeah.
the correct ones in house.
Yes, yes. I would suspect that before the draft, all these positions get filled,
Oh
and the
yeah,
Falcons go into the draft with a full arsenal of coaches and just minds to help navigate the 2026 draft where it needs to go. And speaking of where to go, man, now we got to turn our sights on to Kevin Stefanski and obviously the job he's done thus far with the Falcons, bringing in talented head coaches. It started with Alex Van Pelt, well decorated quarterback coach around the league to help young Michael Penix Jr. whenever he's ready to assume role with the Falcons as QB1. But it's one that I think the name just kind of made its way in and out. This little action going on back there. What's going on?
My cat yelling at me to feed her.
Yeah. It's all good, man. Yeah, I hear him, man. Yeah, hey, man, they need love too, brother. The name really, I think a lot of people just overlooked it, but you got to look at the body of work. Tanner Estrand. I'm probably butchering.
Engstrand, yeah.
Engstrand. I'll go with Engstrand. So. I'll go with Engstrand for 100. Let's do it. Young man that cut his teeth with the Detroit Lions, right? And that's really the bulk of his work, and where you can appreciate what he did, right? He was an understudy to Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson was presumed to be maybe the next Sean McVay. The way he was dialing up the numbers and putting up points, racking up points. That Detroit Lions offense speaks for itself for for 4 years, from 2020 to 2024. It's one thing that I don't know if a lot of people know about, but in 2024, they scored 564 points, which is good for 70 touchdowns. And that beat the number 8th overall in history, offense in history, which was the Atlanta Falcons back in 2016 that only scored 540. But wait, and a large part of that is because young Tanner Engstrand was a part of that, dialing up these creative plays. And I know you have some footage that you want to show shortly about what passing concepts we might be looking forward to, because obviously the talent is here. The talent is absolutely here. And when he took over, Engstrand was a tight end coach for a little bit before he got promoted to pass game coordinator. So you got to appreciate the job that he did with a rookie Sam Laporta in year 1, and then he exploded onto the scene in year 2. And in year 2 is when he got elevated, and we saw Laporta more as a prominent focus for that Lions offense. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown speaks for himself, and Jahmyr Gibbs. But I think this low-key could be the best hire for the Falcons aside Kevin Stefanski. And I think a lot of people don't know what this young man could bring to the table. They'll probably judge him for what job he did with the Jets last year, because he was the OC there last year. I think he goes back to his natural roots. I think he can settle in as pass game coordinator, learn a thing or two more, elevate really his thinking and the way he creates things, and maybe shine down the line. But for right now, we're going to enjoy Tanner for what he's done.
So real quick,
Sure.
Jones, I don't need D-Led in my, and I already hear enough when I'm watching the press conference. Respect to D-Led. Sometimes he does have some good questions. Sometimes you just kind of have secondhand embarrassment because your uncle is like, what? Like, what are you talking about, dude? He literally just answered that. But anyway.
Yeah, coach. Oh
my gosh. Stop. He's always the first one, too. Always the first one.
Oh, man. Shout out D-Led, man.
Shout out D-Led, AJC, all them. Anyways.
Let's do it.
So Tanner, I agree, has gone very under the radar. And yes, if anything, one man's trash is another man's gold. And that's exactly what he is, because he did learn under Ben Johnson. They were very successful because of the talent, right? He was able to dial up some nice passing concept to create space, create where guys get open, something we have been asking for a long time. Since Kyle Shanahan left, we really haven't had that. Even, we've gone through Sark, we've gone through we went through Arthur Smith, we've gone through now, who was it? What's that guy's name in Tampa? Zach Robinson,
that guy.
Kevin Stefanski wannabe over there.
Yeah.
So we've gone through them, but just watching a little bit of what he did in Detroit, I think we're going to see the benefit, and he's probably going to be gone after a year because he's going to get another opportunity as an OC. I was shocked when Aaron Glenn fired him. I really was shocked because, hell, you had a Justin Fields who was holding the ball way too long. Then you had
Mhm.
Tyrod Taylor. You have an offensive line that can't, run block worth a dang. Who was the wide receivers there? Garrett Wilson ended up getting hurt. Like,
Sure did.
they traded for what's his name, A.D. Mitchell, right? Who
Yeah,
had a nice little spark.
sure did. Yep.
And then Aaron, Glenn, respect, you're an NFL coach, all that stuff. You go from this young man, this bright young mind, you cut him loose after 1 year because you panicked. You don't want to lose your job. And then you go to Frank Reich. What are we doing? What are we doing here? But just watching, I pulled some tape on, I'm going to share my screen here. I pulled some tape from the 2023 matchup of the Lions versus our Falcons.
Oh my God.
Let me see.
Was that the preseason game or was that the regular season game?
No, this is the regular season game.
Gotcha. Okay.
This is regular season. Ryan Nielsen was our defensive coordinator, right? The great Ryan Nielsen that everyone wanted to come back was getting cooked by this young man's passing concepts.
Ouch.
Hey, what was the saying? Truth hurts sometimes.
Truth hurts. Yeah. Truth does hurt.
Something that
Oh, you just set yourself up for one. You just set yourself up for one.
Don't start with me, boy.
You sound like
dude. That sound like. Come on.
My son does that. Hey, boy, come here. I'm like, hey, man, what are you doing, bro? Oh man, that's crazy.
Anyways. Okay. I'm going to break it down for you, okay? It's 1st and 25. It's early in the first quarter. They just committed a penalty, okay? This is a 15-yard completion on first down. They get over half of the yards back, exactly what you want to do as an offense on first down, okay? They're in 21 personnel. For those of you that like fullbacks, the Lions had a fullback in there. I'm going to give you the alignment of all the players. You've got Sam Laporta here, rookie Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra, Jahmyr Gibbs up here, Josh Reynolds, not even JMO, Josh Reynolds, and then their fullback is right here. Okay? The Falcons come out in what I think is a form of cover one, or it could be quarter half. It was kind of hard to tell because of all the moving pieces and no one really lining up. So I'm going to start this off. Well, maybe. Come on, man. Technical difficulties. There we go. All right, guys. So watching the alignment, okay, pre-snap. What's going to end up happening is Jahmyr Gibbs on the outside is going to motion across the formation, okay? Then he's going to run like a little wheel route. And what Laporta is going to do, he's going to do a switch release. So what that means is they're running their routes vertically, but then they switch, okay? So they're just one goes to the outside, one goes to the inside. It confuses defenses, and it potentially creates a rub situation. Laporta runs a post route, okay? So you've got Gibbs running a wheel on the sideline, Laporta running a post, okay? What's going to end up happening is you're going to have 2 crossing routes per se. This is a Mills concept. Oh, boys, gave you my praise, bro. I saw my name in the chat, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Anyways, so it's called a Mills concept. Now, what you're going to see here is this inside receiver, Josh Reynolds, just going to run a little drag. Amon-Ra is not even going to – he's just going to go in a diagonal. He's going to go right at Troy Anderson, the inside of Troy Anderson. Yeah. Now, watch what happens. Motion across the field. Looks like man coverage. The ball is snapped, okay? I'm going to pause it here, okay? You got D. Alford on Jahmyr Gibbs. AJ's locked up on Laporta. You've got our other corner was Trey Flowers at this point, by the way, if you didn't remember.
Oh, I did.
Trey Flowers running with the drag. The fullback does a little swing release after checking protection. Here's Caden, okay? He's got the swing release. Troy, I don't know what Troy's doing. Here's Amon-Ra. Troy's in the backfield. But watch as the drag comes across, Troy is going to bite so hard, and the safeties are – it looks like cover 2, but I can't tell.
Yeah.
Look at this.
The separation.
Look at the separation.
Oh, things we've yearned for here in Atlanta.
Look at this. It's just a little stop route in the middle of the field. Jesse Bates realizes it. He's too far away. Doc gets it in time. That's 15 yards. just like that. Now
That
they've
is
got
considered an explosive play
that
in
is
the
an
NFL.
explosive play. Now you have 2nd and 10 when you had
Mhm.
1st and 25. This is a positive play, right? It's a positive EPA play for those of you, you
Yeah.
statistic nerds, right? So now let me get the other one. Okay, that was early in the game, so that just shows you the
Mhm.
separation that can be created. Could Jared Goff have taken the shot? Yes, but that was the 2nd and 3rd read. The first read was Amon-Ra, and he was wide open. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, here we go. Where's the next one?
The
This
next
one.
question. Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Next question. What?
No, no. I was gonna say the next question could be like you see these concepts and you look at what we have on tap, right?
Mhm.
So receiver wise, you have Drake London. Obviously, if you want to go the route with Bijan, utilizing him as a wide receiver, you absolutely can. 112 missed tackles last year has a thing or two. That's a receiver that you want in space, right? But then becomes more question marks than anything, right? Because obviously we don't know the status of Darnell Mooney. While we're all writing him off this roster, Atlanta might choose to keep him on a
Mhm.
reduced contract or some sort. Anything. We don't know. We don't know
Mhm.
what that's going to look like in the coming weeks. But it does seem like an addition has to be made at that wide receiver 2 spot.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
absolutely. What are
It's like,
we?
hey, what are we
I
eating
haven't gotten
today?
anything yet. I don't know if I am, right?
He's
Wifey's
not in
not
the
feel.
doghouse.
Well, hold on. Why? No, I'm not in the doghouse. Wifey just doesn't feel well, so we're not.
Hey, man, shout out to wifey. Hope she
Yeah, she's
feels
not
better,
feeling
man.
well. So wifey's being a trooper. She's got the kids, so Bro
Look at
Talk can
that.
be here with you guys.
Yeah. W wife, man. I'm telling you, man. It's
But
awesome.
yes, to add to what you were saying is yes, the wide receiver room. Darnell, that it does kind of raise questions like,
Mhm.
do they ask Tanner, is Darnell someone we can utilize here? Yes, in a sense, he's got vertical threat. He can,
Mhm.
threaten people in man coverage. The young man, I feel like, lost a lot of confidence last year. I really do. I really
Yeah.
think he did lose a lot of confidence. So maybe they let the contract play out. Maybe they let it play out. I don't know. That cap number is a little high,
Mhm.
but they could draft someone that will eventually take over Darnell. And if Darnell, gets outplayed in training camp, hey, you're gone.
Listen,
Right?
I know there's a lot of favorite. Chris Bell comes to mind. Fun player out of Louisville. I still like Casey Concepcion out of Texas A&M,
Mhm.
man. I like him in that slot or even wide receiver number 2, either or. But there's time, and we have to wait. We have to
So
wait
a
and
lot
see.
of people thought like Amon-Ra was strictly a slot guy, which he does find a
He
lot of his
does,
separation in the slot, but he can
sure.
also play on the outside.
Oh yeah.
You just got to find a guy that's willing to win with his routes. And we all know Amon-Ra is a bit of a dick, but he's got that dog and he's going to tough out any injury and he's going to play for his guys, right?
Mhm.
He's that dude, he has that chip on his shoulder because he felt
Mhm.
like he should have been drafted higher. And there's
Mhm.
something in the USC wide receivers, right? Drake London, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Michael Pittman Jr., like you name it, like
Ooh.
USC. I know a lot of people are clamoring for him if he gets cut. That's just an older
Absolutely,
version of
man.
Drake London. Stop. That's just an
I get it.
older version of Drake London. So a couple
Yeah.
people, Casey Concepcion, I think it would be a great pick here. Can
Mhm.
create separation.
Mhm.
Also gives you return ability. He did that at Texas A&M. Very
Did.
explosive in the return game. I saw it very closely. My sister-in-law goes to Texas A&M, so we always watch those games. And he had, I think I want to say 4 or 5 returns in return touchdowns, kick and punt. So he gives you that explosiveness there. I think Zakarian Branch is another guy, can get it in
Out
the
of GA.
backfield and make something happen. I think KC edges him out for me.
Mhm.
And granted, I haven't done deep dive tape on prospects yet.
Mhm.
From what I've seen, is Casey isn't a behind the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage receiver. He gets vertical, even if it's 4 or 5 yards, right?
Yeah.
Versus Branch, who lives and thrives on those bubble screens, those screens, and kind of makes things happen, which some coaches may love, right? Yeah, I want a guy that can, weave his way through defenders and create an explosive play. So
Yeah.
we'll see. It definitely, at least one draft, I would be shocked Unless it's all trenches, right? Unless it's all trenches, I would be
Yeah,
shocked if we don't draft a wide receiver because it feels like this class is a fairly deep one.
it's a deep one. Yeah, it sure is,
And
man.
you know we can get one of those guys. Chris Bell, I like Chris Bell. He reminds me a lot of prime Debo Samuel. I know he gets
Mm,
that comparison a lot. Big, beefier wide receiver that's got really good speed once the
yeah,
ball's in his hand, yak ability. But that torn ACL, man, late in the season, I
that
always
hurts, man.
hesitate.
Hmm.
I always hesitate there. But if they draft him, we know, Bones. We know. We
Gotta
know.
love it, man.
Um,
Abs-
right. Look at all the guys right here named. Like
yeah,
these are guys
Chris
going to be
Brazzle.
available
I
in
like
the
Chris Brazzle a lot too.
second round, third round, fourth round. Like there will be someone available.
Absolutely.
All right. Engstrand, right? Tight
Let's
ends.
do it.
Kyle Pitts. What can he do for Kyle Pitts?
Oh my God.
Let me show you. This is the 45-yard touchdown
Mhm.
to Laporta. Do you remember that? It was 3-3
I
at
do.
this point.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to start the play. Let them get lined up. The Falcons for sure are in cover one here. Okay. What's the first thing you notice? Under center. Okay.
I can't even tell. Oh yeah, yep. I say under center.
Do I need to zoom in?
Maybe just a little bit.
I don't know if I can zoom in. Let me see. Let me do this.
Yay.
That better? That better?
Yep, that's better.
Okay. All right. So under center, Jahmyr Gibbs is your back. It's 13. No, I'm sorry. It's 12 personnel. 2 tight ends.
2 tight ends. Yep.
Okay. You've got, what's his name? Josh Reynolds up here.
Mhm.
Amon-Ra,
Mhm.
Laporta, and
Yep.
Brock Wright, their second tight end. Okay. This is going to be a Patriot concept. Or no, I'm not sorry, a Patriot concept. Yankee concept. Okay. Where they isolate Laporta. This is, I'm going to start the play so you can see Amon-Ra motions. Okay. Across the formation, sets.
There's your cover one look.
There's your cover one look. Play action, boot. Okay. We're booting out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Amon-Ra runs a slide route, which for those of you that don't know, he's just running on the line of scrimmage just as a line, as an outlet. If there's nothing downfield, hey, I'm here. Okay. Jesse Bates recognizes it. He's going to cover. Okay. What Laporta is going to do, he's going to run vertical. He's going to show
it.
Show corner. Get Richie Grant his hips to attack that. And then he's going to go post. So he goes corner post. And what helps this, and this is a cover one beater, because if Laporta is covered, I want you to look underneath at Josh Reynolds.
My God.
So here he is. Now he is covered really well, right? Here's a little stick route. But look at Troy Anderson's over here. You got a defensive back here because it's an outside zone play action bootleg, but then Jahmyr Gibbs is going to wheel. Okay. So if Goff has nothing open and these guys get lazy, whoever the defenders is, look at all this space over here.
A lot of real estate, baby.
A lot of real estate. But watch. Hips are to the sideline where the corner would have been, or the sail, whatever you call that route.
Yep.
And then look at Laporta go post.
Oh,
Jared
my
Goff
God.
already sees it. Wide open.
Hips don't lie, baby.
Yards,
Hips
touchdown,
don't lie.
man.
That's crazy.
Now imagine that with Kyle Pitts. Imagine
Easily
that with
done.
Kyle Pitts. Wide open, in the bucket, touchdown. He
you
has
notice
yet to have a touchdown that easy. I don't remember him having a touchdown that easy other than maybe week 1 in 2024 when he was just chilling and like waving his arms like, hello.
Ooh.
You remember that?
I do remember. I do.
You called it.
With emotion, I did call it. They asked me on Bleacher Report. We was on the panel, and they asked, and I'm like, it's going to be Kyle Pitts who scores it. Oh, no, it's not. Yes, it was. Watch.
It was.
But you look at the depth that the routes those wide receivers take in order to create the separation, right? You don't have those 10, 15 in routes in Atlanta presently, but now with Tanner, it could be a thing because now there's so many other things developing on the backside to get the defense to bite and just open up to get all that real estate. Because God damn it, that was a lot of real estate. Whichever way he wanted to go, Goff had real estate in front of him for a play to score a touchdown.
Exactly.
It's good shit, man.
Exactly.
It's good shit.
He's attacking all levels, right? He's stressing the defense. That's what makes a good OC, pass game coordinator, run game coordinator. You're stressing weak points on a defense, and then something's going to break open. So if Richie Grant in the corner had covered that post really well, the next read is the dig route coming underneath. Is that open? No, it's not.
Nope.
Okay, now my underneath stuff that is holding defenders down. Is that open? No. Do I still have time? I'm going all the way to the wheel route. So
Oh
just
man.
so many options that a quarterback can progress through, right? Because this is a progression league, right? You go 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not reading the defense as much, right? You pre-snap it. Yes, I'm not going to this half. I'm going to start here 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's the league we're in. So he gives you that those options. All right. We've all been asking.
Oh baby.
We've all been asking Zach Robinson and Arthur Smith when he was here. Why can't you use Bijan in the middle of the field? Kyle Shanahan did it with Devontae Freeman. Why couldn't and Tevin Coleman? Why can't you do it here? I like to think Bijan's better than both those players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you disagree?
Yeah. Bijan's better than both, baby.
Hey, when's the last time we had and it could be recency bias, and this is kind of off topic. When is the last time we had a running back as good as Bijan? As close to the level?
I mean, shit. Freeman years, man.
Freeman is probably the closest that we were there, and those were what, 3 or 4 years of prime Freeman?
Yeah.
And the gap is still large.
Very oh, man.
Isn't that crazy? The ghost of Todd Gurley? The ghost of Todd Gurley?
That man is chilling at what, 28 years of age.
Steven Jackson. 2 times in a row, we signed these former Ram running backs something was going to happen. I still, again, off topic, I still remember when Steven Jackson first signed here, we played the Aints, and the game-winning touchdown was thrown his way, and it hit him straight in the chest, and then he catches it. We beat the Aints, and we're 1-0. But anyways, all right. This is in the red zone, inside the 5-yard line. You're thinking, why are we in shotgun and not under center? Just wait. Just wait. Okay. 13 personnel. Okay. What the Packers are going to be doing here is they're going to send pressure. They've got their 4 tight bunch right here in case it's a run. And they're going to send Quay. And they're going to drop some guys. But you've got 3 tight ends here, right? This is the passing strength, technically. 1 wide receiver here. It's not even Amon-Ra. And then Jahmyr Gibbs. Okay? You're going to motion out one of your tight ends. When this safety, was that 39? It looks like Zane Anderson. This safety motions out with the tight end. And look at Jared Goff's looking to see if there's a safety. There's no safety. So this is just like man coverage. Mono on mono, right? With some droppers. This tight end is essentially clearing this guy out. Laporta is going to run like a little post, try and fight through this coverage. The third tight end is actually protecting in case someone comes off the edge. This is going to be an out and whip. Watch Jahmyr Gibbs. Just watch. Bang.
Bang. Texas route, wheel route, whip route, whatever you want to call it.
The Texas
touchdown, baby.
What these defenders are zone droppers now because the guys they were covering, well, one of the guys that he was covering stayed and blocked, right? So he could have either pressured or he dropped. But because there was a passing strength, look, you've got 4 against 2, man coverage. Look at this. You think this linebacker is covering anything right now? Look at his feet.
No. Yeah. He's dead to rights, man.
Touchdown.
Beautiful stuff, man.
So this is what we have to look forward to in our passing game because this is a type of creativity. Now, of course, Stefanski will have some say. What's his name? Reese will have some say. Like all those are going to, they're going to mold together. But this is the type of stuff we can expect to see some real creativity. Oh, I am getting something. Thanks, love. Oh, I got some egg sandwiches on some scratch-made sourdough. Look at that.
Sheesh.
Look at that. And it's a runny egg over medium for those of you
over medium.
We have scrambled from time to time, but the real what is it? Art is my wife's over medium eggs.
Just spectacular. Ron
My mouth
Thomas
is
he's here
watering.
for that. He's like, see that?
That's how clutch my wife is. Why I
That's
married her.
awesome, man. There we go. I like to hear that. That's wonderful,
But
man.
it Stefanski's done a phenomenal job so far
Yeah,
of his
I agree.
hires.
Hmm.
We've seen some guys go that we were happy went, but then we've seen some guys that people are kind of like, oh man, I really wish he would have stayed. I really
Fuck off,
think
Tom.
no.
And I say that
Worry
with
about
love.
having a wide receiver, right? Everybody talking about our guy. Worry about your guy that's in trouble with the law right now. I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying, right?
that's
Oh,
right.
hey, you know what's funny? I hadn't seen him since that Super Bowl loss. That sting a little bit, big dog. You come
Oh,
back
that's
down to earth,
true.
big dog. Okay,
Oh,
just making sure.
oh man, you're gonna get him going. You're gonna get him going. That's all good. It's all good. We're here for it, man. We're here for it. But yes,
Uh,
man. Nonetheless, as you were stating, man, it's a phenomenal job, right? The offensive minds that we're putting together on this staff, man, to go with the talent that we currently have and what we're gonna acquire in the coming months. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I really have high hopes for this offense in 26 under Stefanski and company. It's just, with the defense also intact still, there's a few pieces that we're going to add as time goes along, and we're not going to waste any time, because obviously that's going to springboard us into our last segment, and this is the potential cuts or cuts that have already been made around the NFL, guys that can come in and help Atlanta right off the jump. There's guys that potentially could be getting axed that could also make a impact in Atlanta. Obviously, all names that are about to be given have some similar ties to the current regime, the current roster that we have here in Atlanta. So I'll which is the first one that you want to address? What's one name you just want to go?
yeah, just go. I mean, yeah, just
This
go.
one's sensitive, and this what do you say? What's this little asshole say? Hot take, bro. Talk has a better back for the 95. Don't care. I
I
said
don't know.
it.
I don't know. I like your dad's background. I really do.
He's such a prick, that kid, man. Oh man, shout out my son Alex, man. Love you, buddy. This one hits at home because this one is a mixed bag, right? There's a lot of people that clamor and love Mike Hughes, but Denzel Ward may be available. And we talk a lot about the rarity it is to have two shutdown corners. Denzel Ward in his by his own right is that sticky coverage guy, is that shutdown corner. AJ Terrell, as we all know, posted some fantastic numbers in 25, shut down by all metrics. Now you have that lined up in your Jeff Ulbrich scheme. Now you have the creativity to be more of that with your defense, your coverages, your disguises, the way you blitz. As it was, blitzing was a thing for Atlanta until the front four got it together and they were able to create that sort of pressure, right? Bring that consistent pressure. Obviously, we're going to add to the defensive line in some way, shape, or form. But before we get into that, your thought right quick on Denzel Ward potentially being scapegoated with the Browns.
If he's available, you go after him. You
Bar none.
100% do, because I love AJ,
Mm-hmm.
but Denzel Ward would immediately be cornerback one, and that would make. I mean, you could say cornerback 1A, and then AJ's cornerback 1B, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
Mike Hughes is a backup, serviceable backup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Hughes, I think, is a good starter, but that doesn't mean we can't upgrade from him. I think
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people misinterpreted that. You want to upgrade at the second corner position. So if Ward's available, I'm 100% on board to try and get him. And he spoke very positively of Stefanski. So
Yes.
could he be willing to take less money to come play for a coach that he really enjoyed? And I think Stefanski was there a good chunk of his career.
He was.
If
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. So Ward has really only had two coaches, mainly Stefanski. And then be interested to see if he wants to go with Jim Schwartz. But I think Ward's the prototypical complete corner.
Mm-hmm.
You go get him. You go get him, because you can then send 5 or 4 and then get home a lot more, because the coverage is so sticky from both your outside corners.
Yeah. Here's a question. I don't. Oh, wait, hold on. The start of free agency is March 11th. The window opens March 11th, if I'm not mistaken, which is
Legal tampering is actually
yeah,
March
legal.
9th.
Oh, March 9th, right?
It's
And
the
then the window
Monday. Yeah.
opens. It's the
Hmm.
Monday. Okay, so free agency starts on the 11th then.
Yep.
So that's good. Okay. Berto and Bro Talk, can Kobe Bryant handle the opposite side of AJ?
I'm
He
sure
still
he
needs time.
could, but he needs to continue to work on his
Yeah.
mechanics. He was picked on a lot when he did come into the game, which I think he invites the challenge. So I think
Mhm.
he's just going to continue to get better. He needs to continue to work on himself, which social media shows you that he's willing to do that.
Exactly. Exactly. Bones ask, why not play all three of the cornerbacks? I'm still pushing to try AJ at nickel. I am.
I am 100% on
I
board on that.
love that. I would love that. I would love to see him. I would love for him to follow the primary, from left to right to inside, a la how the way Jalen Ramsey used to do it, right? But can we get that? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. That's within the coaches to challenge these players on their athletic abilities and whatnot. Knuckles asks, "What are your guys' thoughts on people saying Njoku is a possible Falcons by following Stefanski?" Look, you can say what you want about Njoku. He was better in his earlier years than he was towards the latter. Harold Fanning came in and just took the snaps from David Njoku, which obviously when that starts to happen is you're dipping, you're declining in some way, shape, or form. Not to take anything from Harold Fanning. How I think Harold Fanning is a phenomenal talent. But David Njoku coming here to Atlanta just doesn't strike a chord with me whatsoever. I'm big on saying this, and I could look stupid for saying so. Not all former players follow former coaches. They
Hmm.
just don't. They just don't, and that can go for offense and defense. For me, I think Stefanski got all of what he could out of Njoku in his time with
Hmm.
the Browns, and I think he realizes that he has something and then some with Kyle Pitts. So I think it's all hands on deck keeping Pitts here in Atlanta.
I will. This is what I'll say. If
Mm-hmm.
if Njoku wants top tier dollar money,
Mm-hmm.
bye. See
See
you
you
later.
later.
But if he
Absolutely.
wants to come here for 3 or 4 milli, sure. Play a little
Yeah.
12 personnel with Pitts and him. I'm
Yep.
open game for that. But if you want that top tight end money, no, that's going to Kyle Pitts, buddy. See you later.
Yeah, see you later. I can see the trajectory for the rest of Njoku's career be like Jared Cook, so to say, where he
Mm.
was, in the later stage of his playing time, but he was still productive. He was still productive. It didn't matter if it was with the Aints, didn't matter if it was with the Chargers. He was still productive. That could be something for Njoku.
You just gave me a brain,
Yeah,
uh, uh, a thought bubble. And
sure.
Joku could honestly go to the Buccaneers. Who was the quarterback for him back in Cleveland earlier?
Oh wow, that's true. Yeah, Faker Mayfield. That's true. Stars may align in that one. Oh
They
my
need a tight.
god.
They need a tight end because Kate Otten is a free agent, and I just don't think Kate Otten elevates it. But again, Zach Robinson doesn't really highlight the tight end, so maybe
Mm.
he's not willing to do that unless Baker convinces him to go there. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, well, he was trying to convince the media that he was banging on the table for Zach Robinson to come to Tampa Bay. And you got it now, buddy. You got it now. All
Right.
right, so we're all on board, obviously, with Denzel Ward. Respects to him, all pro player, Pro Bowl player, would be phenomenal fit here in Atlanta. Another name that has surfaced, and this one could be because the Miami Dolphins it seems like they're facing a mass exodus of players. Obviously, Minka Fitzpatrick, his name is coming up in potential trade talks. They've already they're gonna release Tyreek Hill. That's one name I will swipe left on. The thought of that being fun in Atlanta, I don't know. There's too much baggage. 31 years of age, speed may be a factor. He's coming off a major knee injury. Don't want it.
No,
Don't
thank
want it.
you.
No,
I'm
thank
out.
you. Another thing is you're playing on turf. No, not
No,
good for
thank
the
you.
knees.
No.
But his running mate, Jalen Waddle,
I, I
on
if
the
he
other
did
side
be,
of it,
if he did become available, yes, but I think that's fake news.
sure. Because I tweeted when I saw that, I'm like, could you imagine Jalen Waddle in this, new passing concept here that's going to be here in Atlanta with Tanner and a guy like him that he can utilize as his version of Amon-Ra St. Brown when he was with the Lions on over routes because obviously speed kills, separations, everything. Waddle would be a mismatch nightmare for the middle of any defense, which obviously opens it all up, right? So if there's any validity or truth to Waddle being potentially on his way out, brother, there is a spot for you in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Some way, somehow, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm yes to that if that's the
Mm-hmm.
case.
Mm-hmm.
1000%.
Me too.
Yeah. You already touched on it a little bit. Michael Pittman's name came up for the Indianapolis Colts as either being a cut candidate or a trade candidate. Obviously, he has an inflated cap number that obviously would now drain itself and go to the pockets of Alex Pierce, who is a free agent by his own right of the Indianapolis Colts. But Michael Pittman, like most people say, like you have said before, is a version or maybe a little bit of a watered down version of Drake London right now. And what's true Drake London's on an offense, right? What does that look like? It doesn't
It's
really
a it's
move
an
the
Arthur
needle.
Smith. It's an Arthur Smith dream. I'd say that much.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
I
no.
agree.
Michael
So
Pittman. No, I'm good.
now, could Michael Pittman be a replacement to our NFC South rival of Tampa Bay if Mike Evans leaves?
He ain't leaving.
You don't think so?
His wife convinced him already to stay in Tampa once. She's going to do it
Yep,
again. What older player, especially with a
yep.
family? I think Mike has some children there. You've been
Mm-hmm.
raising your family there. What's the point? You already have a ring.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point at that time other than to just keep? He said he's returning. He's
Yeah,
playing another year. So what's
yep.
the point of going to another city unless there's someone that you wanted to play with? I just don't see that. Mike doesn't seem like that type of player to do that.
Yeah.
I think he runs it back one more year in Tampa.
Runs it back one more year, and Tampa might be his last one. Thank God.
I know,
First ballot,
right?
yeah, first ballot
Get
Hall of
out of
Famer, but
here.
thank God. Yes, another name that is making its rounds and its news coming out of Green Bay, potentially Romeo Dobbs. A free agent. That's a name to keep an eye on. I'll say in the same makeup of a Jalen Waddle, and I mean by that is the speed, the separation. The it factor you would, if you want to call it, at the wide receiver spot will definitely fill the need. But Romeo Dobbs, right, could be.
I'm yes on
I
him.
would. I'm yes on him 100%.
Yes. I think he's a great player. He's shifted his mindset, right? There were some doubts
Early on.
early in his career about his
Yeah.
mindset and does he love football? And, I
Mhm.
think he kind of went through a down time and he brought himself out. I'm sure the people surrounding him helped him out, but I think pairing him up with Drake, they're two different style receivers, and that's what you want in an offense to kind of you want to talk about hate. You want to talk about hate. That's like Andre Johnson and what's his name? Finnegan. You remember that?
Oh, Cortland Finnegan. Oh my God,
Yeah, but
that was
Cortland
awesome.
Finnegan, that
Was
was
a
Andre
punk.
Johnson was probably the chillest guy ever, and he brought that upon himself.
He sure did. He
I
asked for
love
that
those.
beat down.
You could always count for a Mike Evans, Marshawn Lattimore fight.
Yeah,
It'd
that
be
would
funny
be.
though. You know what? Why don't you go to New York? You can see him again in the division.
Oh God. Ugh.
That ain't happening, but
Nah, it's all good, man.
Romeo Dobbs, yes.
Yes. All right. We got a question here, right quick, from Knuckles again. He says, should the Falcons attack free agency to obtain offense or defensive pieces, or should we go more toward the draft route? I don't think you stop at adding offense or defense in any way, shape, or form. So I think the Falcons go into free agency, maybe adding one and one, maybe one offensive, maybe one defensive, and continue that trajectory in the draft. So I don't think it's a way to. I don't think calling it or saying attacking it is the correct word. It's a philosophy that just has to happen. We come from a GM that is, just centralized on building the trenches, and obviously, offensive line, defensive lines can always be addressed in whichever way you look at it. So, yeah,
Yes. My answer is yes. You do both.
you do both. That's it, buddy. So The last free agent, this is the one that strikes a chord with many because there's so many connections. A native of Austell, Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, has ties. And I'm gonna give you a name that and I have to shout out. We gotta call him Vacation Damsky because he's on vacation right now, enjoying some weather in the South, obviously. And he came up with this, obviously, NC State back in 2018. Dave Huxtable, who's our senior advisor on defense, did coach Bradley Chubb at NC State before Huxtable left for Bama. But Chubb's available, and I mean, this fits a need, obviously, with all with
Always.
the dark cloud, yeah, and always, right, you can never have too many pass rushers, but the dark cloud that's already surrounding the edge group as it is, unfortunately, a name like Bradley Chubb comes up, who, yes, he's battled injuries, but he seems to have put those injuries to the to the way falling by the wayside, on the back burner. I think he's 2 or 3 years removed from tearing his Achilles, and he's rebounded pretty well. So, but
Yes.
Bradley Chubb is available. He would absolutely fill a need right from day one.
Yeah,
I'm on board with this one,
I'm all in.
100%,
I
man.
think he's the number one guy you go after.
Hmm.
He's not. I don't know that he'll command top edge money anymore
Hmm.
because of some injury history,
Hmm.
but he's still going to cost a pretty penny. And if Tyler Linderbaum is out of our range, this is the guy you go for, because, like you said, if we're going to be rushing four, we need a proven guy that can win. And
Right
Bradley
on.
Chubb has done it in Denver, and he's
Sure.
done it in Miami. Right, bring
Yep.
him here. He's still relatively young. He's not that old,
Hmm.
so I think it would be huge upside. It would bring that veteran presence to this young defensive line, and who knows, may help Jalen Walker's trajectory as a pass rusher, his development. Right,
Right.
when you have a guy that's proven, like, hey, these are tendencies to look for. This is how you attack this, et cetera, et cetera. Like, that's huge for a young passer.
Hmm.
I mean, look at DeMarcus Ware, what he did for a young Von Miller. Von Miller was already going to be that guy,
Yeah, it was gonna
but
be
then you
great.
but then you brought in DeMarcus freaking Ware, Hall of Fame
Hmm.
DeMarcus Ware. Now you pair
Hmm.
him up on the other side, and he teaches Von Miller. And we saw Von Miller's trajectory. Shoom, Super Bowl MVP. Shoom, still in the league right now. He's bouncing around, but he's that guy that people want because he is such a good pass rusher.
He definitely is. And, you hit on some great points because my concern is if you don't bring a pass rusher of some capacity, the amount of pressure that puts on Jalen Walker to be that guy as the number one pass rusher. We don't know what year two is going to look like for him, right? He delivered a pretty good year one. Obviously, injuries hindering him a bit, early on in the year. He was able to finish strong, but is he going to continue that upward trajectory? But you lose your counterpart on the other side for an unspecified amount of games or for the year. We don't know. So you kind of have to bring somebody else in because I don't think you fill the void bringing back Leonard Floyd and expecting him to play extra snap being a veteran. You got to get somebody that knows what they're doing on the outside and can do it pretty well. And I think Chubb is the guy that fits the mold on that. I got to ask you this, right? Because I know I'm a John Franklin Mayer's. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of his. I love his work. I love what he did with the Jets with the Ulbrich. I love even more of what he's done and the player that he's turned into under Vance Joseph and what he means to any defensive line that he goes to. But seeing as though as Franklin Myers is that more of your traditional three tech, three to five tech, right? I would say more so than anything. I know that Denver has gotten exotic with him and they lined him up as a nose or as the zero, but that was far and few in between. That's depending on what Vance Joseph was calling for the time. But bringing in a guy like John Franklin Myers, how does that impact Rukaroro? Because Rukaroro, I feel, was brought in or drafted to maybe possibly be that Jonathan Franklin Myers for us down the stretch. He's going into year three, so that's a big leap, right? So bringing in a vet like that, does that stunt him in any way? You feel? No,
No, because remember, Rook was raw. You
very.
bring in a guy that's proven, that
Hmm.
knows what's being asked of the guy that goes from 3 to 5 or sometimes a 0,
Mhm.
that can help the player. Now, if it actually happens, that's another thing. Is Rook willing to eat his pride and say, I need to continue to improve to be at John Franklin's Myers, to be that sought out veteran, right?
Yep.
That's going to be all upon him, all upon Ulbrich, Nate Ollie, and all those guys. I don't think it stunts his growth. I like to view it as it can help him
Mhm.
continue to develop, because what did you say? When did he start playing football?
Oh man, 2 years before he got drafted. So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
that's
Two
crazy.
2 years. Well, was it 2 years in high school? Then he went to Clemson.
And then he went to Clemson, something like that. Yeah, so he was very raw still. He's a baby in
You
that.
know how freak of an athlete you have to be to play 2 years of football, not
Yeah.
understand the sport, and
Yep.
then you go to a Power 5 program?
Mhm.
That's crazy. So I think Franklin Myers, he's much needed. And like Bone said, you need depth. You need someone to continue to help. Brandon Dorless, Zach Harrison, I think all those guys rotating in, especially with Myers being a little older than these guys, he's able to get those breathers. He's not dependent on. He can stay fresh and just bring you that attitude that you want across your front.
Yeah. That's probably a show in the waitings right there. Make or break players going into this season for the Falcons, because obviously, we have a lot of players still held over from the past regime. Zach Harrison, obviously, we just spoke about Ruka Roro, and maybe some other ones. We have to do some more digging. How much pressure is it on them players individually to produce in 26 to further their careers with the Falcons? Harrison obviously comes to mind because he was on a clear path of greatness. I think he would have been a double digit sack guy. I think when he went down, he had 4.5
Mhm.
sacks leading the
Mhm.
team. So with more time, I think he could have been that guy like James Pierce with the 10 sacks. But needless to say, right? The Falcons have they they have money in free agency. I think they're going to be one of the more active teams to try and lure in and bring in players right at the start of it. I think it's a pipe dream now. Thinking of guys like Tyler Lindenbaum, who may be in that 20 million, contract status, getting paid per year, and with our own pending free agents, I think the Falcons might go the more methodical route. A guy like John Franklin Myers probably won't command as much. Bradley Chubb might not command as much being 28 years of age, post a couple injuries, but his sack numbers still do speak for themselves. Here's another one, another name, Quiddy Pay out of Michigan.
I like him.
I like him too. High energy guy, can set the edge really well. He's a good stopping edge presence.
Is
I
he is
just
he more of like a Jalen Walker style edge
He
guy?
is more like a Jalen Walker edge. Yes, I feel as though, and I think the tape when you pop it on and you look at it might hint that as well.
But you still need that depth because Braylon Trice is coming off. Braylon Trice was supposed to be Jalen Walker
Right.
for us when he was drafted, and now he's coming off his second knee injury. So
Yes.
Quiddy Pay as depth wouldn't be a terrible thing.
Right. Right on, man. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Definitely, it's going to be a no shortage in free agents that are going to be available. The Falcons, obviously, with some moves that we expect them to make in the coming weeks, is going to allow them to be day one spenders, day two spenders, whichever route you want to look at it. But the Falcons, I feel like they will be active. Um. So yeah, man. We're coming up on an hour and 10 minutes, man, and think it's time to wrap it up, brother. So, any parting words before we get out of here, man?
What is the date? February 18th. The combines, what?
A
A
couple
week,
weeks away.
week and a half, maybe 2 weeks away.
Yeah, 2 weeks, I
You
think.
think there's a lull? There really isn't. Um, we're going to be here every week. We're going to start talking more about prospects. The mock drafts will be here before you know it.
Woohoo!
Talking more Falcons football. There's always something to talk about. So be sure you guys are dropping in on Wednesday nights.
Absolutely, absolutely. And while you were so gracious to say that, please let the folks know where they can find you, man.
Guys, short form content, TikTok, YouTube Reels, Instagram Reels, wherever you get your short form content at Dirty Bird Central. long form content as well. Have the perfect off-season video up. It is still there. Go check it out. Things may have changed from since then, but it gives you an idea of the salary cap and what we can do as a team and some free agent targets that we can go after once the legal tampering is open. And then, as always, on Twitter, at BK squared 7. Daily tweets as best I can. Work is work, and it's crazy right now. But yeah, I'll still put stuff out there as it comes in.
Definitely, man. For Bro Talk, I'm your boy Berto, your host of the 95 North Falcons talk show, and the other half of the dynamic duo called Reporting Eligible, coming to you live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. So make sure you have that notification tab on, so that way when we drop content, you'll be one of the first to listen and view. We would definitely appreciate all the support from all the viewers. Again, yes, it is a little bit of a low, but at Reporting Eligible, we're working behind the scenes to bring you the best content possible week in and week out. So look for future projects like Bro Talk just mentioned, some mock drafts, some college prospect breakdowns. So it's going to be fun. We have a lot of time from now into the draft. So make sure you tune into Reporting Eligible every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. And for me, you can always catch me on Bleacher Report Monday through Friday, dropping short form content. Keep giving you everything that's latest and up to date with our beloved Atlanta Falcons. So for Bro Talk, I'm Berto. Thank y'all very much for joining us this Wednesday evening. We'll give you your Wednesday evening back, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.